Welcome to FileMaker Integration, Roadmap for the Future Part 1. FileMaker DevCon 2019 in Orlando, Florida. I'm Tim Sambura. I'm the CEO and software engineer at Lumenfire. Been using FileMaker for 27 years and a certified developer in almost all the versions from 8 to 18. This is my 18th DevCon. I've been attending since 2002 in Palm Desert, and I have a degree in electrical engineering and a minor in theater arts. I love to travel to Disney with my family, and many of my hobbies, things I do: magic, juggling, trumpet, piano, drums, French. And I started Lumenfire full-time 9 years ago. And so Lumenfire, as a company, we build smart technology that delivers business results. We focus in primary areas of FileMaker. We are a platinum partner and WordPress, and we are also members of the Apple Consultants Network. Some key specialties we have are integration, enterprise IT, mapping and spatial visualization, including GIS, Geographic Information Systems, and security compliance, including HIPAA, PCI, FERPA. And we recently made the list, the Inc. 5000 list, as one of the most successful companies in America in terms of our growth over the last 3 years. We are from Minneapolis, St. Paul area, the Twin Cities of Minnesota, and a lot of good things have come out of Minnesota. This is our office. We are very fortunate to hold our FM Pug meetings at our office in the Minneapolis area, and here are some of the good things that have come out of Minnesota. We have the Milky Way candy bar, the Twister game, Spam, the salted nut roll, lots of foods, Betty Crocker and General Mills, the Tonka trucks, rollerblades, the Honey Crisp apple, and Scotch 3M tape. The Minnesota State Fair is a big thing in Minnesota. They're one of our clients. We track over 5,000 competitions and over $2 million of prize money on iPads using FileMaker. Another famous Minnesota treat is tater tot hot dish. But we believe one of the best things coming out of Minnesota is Lumenfire. We've chosen the theme of the Pixar Disney movie Up for DevCon this year. And you can see the house is an analogy for your solution, and the balloons are all the ways that Lumenfire can help you to get your solution to where you want it to be. Various services and products that can help you along the journey, your adventure. Here's the adventure book, the Lumenfire Brilliant Solutions Adventure Book. And it's about integration. And integration helps you to get to your paradise solution. What is application integration? It's really about bringing systems together and making software talk. Why would you want to do it? It eliminates double entry and errors. It avoids reinventing the wheel. It makes your applications simply more powerful. So if you have FileMaker and you want to talk to the world, all these different services that are out there, how can we go about that? Well, integration is difficult. That's a known issue. And the corollary that we have with Lumenfire is that nothing is easy. And we know this from spending hours and hours solving some of these problems. And they involve APIs. That's one of the building blocks for applications to talk to each other. An API is an application programming interface. And normally we're using JSON and curl to talk to them. And most modern applications have an API. So why is integration difficult? It's because we have these moving targets, constant change. There are varying quality in the APIs and the code of different applications. We have data mapping and syncing issues, and just debugging JSON and curl commands in FileMaker is more difficult than standard scripts. So since integration is not easy, we at LumenFire have spent a lot of time working out some brilliant solutions. And we're going to show you, as you build your app, how we could help. You have this construction analogy in building custom applications. You have your existing solutions, then we might build a blueprint or a plan for how we get to your future solution. And sometimes that involves remodeling, where you're adding on a room or a feature or a component here and there, or if the structure of your existing solution is such that it needs to completely be rebuilt, it needs a new foundation, sometimes that's the plan as well. So here are our tool set of custom application building blocks. We have FM Ignite, which is our fully customizable business solution. FM Flare, which is pre-built FileMaker code modules. Brilliant Sync to sync data between websites and APIs, and Brilliant Gateway as data API middleware. So the three icons on the right are really what we call middleware. They work between FileMaker and other products. And if you think of FileMaker as the workplace innovation platform, we can look at the middleware as kind of the workplace integration platform. Looking at the larger tool set, we can add in FileMaker. FileMaker and FM Ignite make a solution there, and then also web technology like WordPress, React, and JavaScript. Very important in today's world. And then we have FM Flare, Brilliant Sync, and Brilliant Gateway. All these things working together as a complete tool set to build custom apps quickly. As I mentioned before, we have FileMaker as a workplace innovation platform, and then these other tools on the right as the integration platform. FM Ignite, FM Flare, Brilliant Sync, and Brilliant Gateway. So let's look first at FM Ignite. It's the fully customizable FileMaker-based business solution. And it has FileMaker as its foundation, and you can think of FM Ignite as the business software, the application solution. It's a template, it's a framework, it's a starting point. And there are a few different versions of FM Ignite. We have FM Ignite Starter, which is a free template you can download and fully unlocked you can use yourself. FM Ignite SaaS, which is bundled with hosting and FileMaker licensing. FM Ignite Pro, which is the granddaddy of them all. And it has 4 different versions: creative agencies, manufacturing, service industry, and art galleries. Looking closer at FM Ignite Starter, it has most common business functions. It's fully open and modifiable. It's well designed using best practices in the FileMaker world and ready to integrate with FM Flare and Brilliant Sync as well. And it provides a smooth migration path to FM Ignite Pro should you need to take advantage of those features. FM Ignite Pro is our full feature-rich custom business solution. You really have the advantage of owning your data and having a competitive advantage when you use a tool like this, and it's lowering the overall cost of development and being able to deploy faster by using this FM Ignite. By jump-starting development, it has over 10,000 hours of coding and nearly $2 million in R&D. It's really a solid architecture built on the latest FileMaker advances, and it's built to enhance and modify. Let's look at FM Flare, Advanced Code Modules for FileMaker. FM Flare is built with all script steps, native script steps in FileMaker. There are no plugins involved, and we maintain it with changing APIs. There are over 70 services we support and 100 functions, and each day we're adding more. So if you are looking for some sort of integration, likely we've done it before, should check with FMFlare. It sits between FileMaker and APIs on the internet of different applications. So there are scripts that talk between FMFlare and FileMaker, and then APIs between FMFlare and the world. We distribute it as a FileMaker file, and also, which is the FMFlare file, and then also a FMFlare example file. Both of the example file and your solution would make an external data source connection to the FMFlare file, and then you can call it the controller script with service, function, and parameters. And then you can use the FMFlare example file to test connections to external services, and also just to learn how to incorporate script steps into your own solution. So this is the box in FileMaker where you manage external data sources. You would just make a connection to the FMFlare file from your solution. And then this is the example file. You can see you can search for different integration services like Slack or Twilio and see which functions are available and which tier of FMFlare they are available in. You can also explore these on our website for FMFlare and see the different services that are available to connect to. So here's an example of the example file for FMFlare showing how to use the Slack service, which is an internal company messaging application. So you would sign up for Slack and enter your webhook URL in there, and then you can customize some fields and enter a message and click on send message. It will log those entries as you test them. Once you know that your connection is working, you can copy the scripts directly from FMFlare into your own solution. And they look like this. They're pretty straightforward, like send Slack message. We've got in this area where we set the parameters, some parameters regarding error messages and success messages, and then the appearance and the actual message, and then the script automatically sets JSON values for you before it calls FMFlare to actually perform the step and returns a result code as well. So it's pretty straightforward. A lot easier than building all the curl commands and JSON, required JSON by yourself. So FM Ignite Sports is a solution that's built with FM Ignite Starter, and FMFlare will use it as show an example of a real-life solution using these tools. And Diggs Volleyball is a volleyball team that needed a way to organize over 60 girls that are involved in the teams, and so we built a FileMaker database based on FM Ignite Starter for Diggs Volleyball, and it manages the contacts, their parents, the teams, some notes, games and tournaments, and then the journal of their payments for various things. You can see from this screenshot it manages also the clothing sizes and prints out reports that can be sent to the companies to order jerseys. Here's an example of the list view showing the different teams, and across the top you'll see that some of the common functions they need to do is send email, send text messages, look at a map, view the website, and import forms. Here's another view of the teams and showing some of the details there. So this solution is also using FMFlare to integrate Gravity Forms to import applications from the WordPress website, from Twilio to send text messages to athletes and parents, and then Mailgun to send emails, and Maps to show carpool information. We use WordPress in a lot of our websites because it's very powerful, and in fact it powers 47% of all content management sites on the internet and almost 30% of the entire internet. You can update WordPress websites without breaking them. There's a thriving and engaged community similar to the FileMaker community. And also, WordPress websites rank highly with SEO. They have themes that can change the look and feel. And there are thousands of plugins that add features to WordPress websites. So we built this WordPress website for the Diggs Volleyball Club. And on the sign-up page, we're using a plugin that's made for WordPress called Gravity Forms. It's a powerful drag-and-drop interface. It's really the industry leader in the WordPress space. It's flexible, reliable, and well-supported. So this is what the sign-up sheet looks like, or the form online. And here's a demo of how that sign-up sheet was actually created. Just wanted to give you a quick demo of creating a form using Gravity Forms that can be imported using FMFlare. Go to the WordPress dashboard, choose Forms, New Form, give it a title, and then we just drag over fields that we're interested in. The name, single line of text here for the school, and then finally their address. Save it by clicking on Update, and then we're going to a special area called Field Helper, which is provided by FMFlare so that we can type in FileMaker friendly names for each of these fields. And then we save that. Those names will come over when we import. And we can preview the form, and it looks like that. So it's pretty simple. So this is a view of the player interest form within WordPress. And again, the field helper settings all filled out to match FileMaker field names. And let's look at some ways that you can use Gravity Forms to get that WordPress data into FileMaker. First, you could just copy and paste it from an email notification. You could export it as Excel, as a CSV file, and import. You can use the APIs, and write custom JSON or curl. But that's a lot of work. And FMFlare and Helper plugin is really the recommended one with importing forms that we're going to demonstrate here. Or you could use Brilliant Sync, and that's really used in situations where you may have more advanced or bidirectional synchronization of information. So copying and pasting it from email looks like this. It's a lot of busy work. There's prone for error, data and double data entry. Exporting it as an Excel CSV is a little less work, but it's more work that you need to follow a lot of manual steps to make it happen on a regular basis. So the Gravity Forms import that's built into FMFlare is much easier. You enter a few key information into the FMFlare Gravity Forms Flare, and that would be like the consumer key, the consumer secret key that you get from Gravity Forms, some of the web form settings, and once it's set up, you just have a button in your solution that can import what you see here, the player interest forms, directly into your FileMaker solution, and it will just create records for you, or you can script it to check to see if a record already exists. You have full control over that information once it comes into FileMaker. Here's an example where it just imported 9 entry forms, and the new forms then appeared in the database. The second integration that we have in this solution is with Twilio, which is a service for sending SMS texts. And this is a look at the FM Flare configuration screen there. Again, we're copying the scripts out of this into the solution FM Ignite Sports, and you can then use that to send texts to students, to parents, or texting everyone in the found set, for example, in the FileMaker database. Very similar kind of implementation is also available for transactional email. That's email that gets sent and is not usually sent to spam. You actually have records of each email being sent and know that it's safely arriving with services like Mailgun, SparkPost, and Mandrill. And within FM Flare, you can just choose one of those services as a different parameter. You don't have to change the coding. And then there's FM Flare Maps, which has geolocation, where you're determining the latitude and longitude of an address. Worldwide, we have also then maps that you can create with pinpoints and custom icons. And those base maps are actually from various different sources, and you don't have to license them like you would with Google. So here's a demonstration of some of the maps. I want to show you a quick demo of the Maps FM Flare module. We're looking at the several different contacts here. I'm going to find the active contacts and then the team, sort by the team name. And if I click on map, it will take the 52 active contacts and map them. So I can make this map a little, zoom in here and click on an individual person. As I click on view, it will show that player in the background, and I can go directly to them. Or I can expand this, and the pin here matches the color of the team that they are on. So this is really useful for helping to find people who might want to carpool. You can look at a different base map. There are lots of different options, and every single one of these maps that is in here is free for use. It's not, you don't have to pay like Google Maps fees. You've got the satellite view. We could zoom in here and see if one of these homes, well, they've actually got some swimming pools here. So that's it. So at DevCon here, we're also using the FM Flare Maps module to live map your results of the DevCon 2019 survey. We're asking a few fun questions like, what is your FileMaker expertise, your music expertise, what instrument do you play, are you a performer, and then some questions about Disney. What's your favorite classic character, your favorite princess, or your favorite park? And we're showing those live on a map, which is kind of fun, and see if there's any correlation between FileMaker developers and music, and whether or not we could create a regional band. If you also desire that survey, you can scan your QR code from the DevCon to Go app and autofill the rest of the form to get information if you're interested. Here's an example of one of the maps. We see this is the Disney characters map, the custom icons that are shown on there, and those icons are uploaded to Amazon S3 using the FM Flare S3 module, and then the mapping software actually looks at them and plots them. So we see we've got a high goofy favorite character in the Minneapolis area here. So here's some details on FM Flare. There are 3 tiers. There's a starter tier, which is free, and so there are a lot of really valuable flares in that starter tier, including the S3 uploader and the Slack module, among others. And there's a pro module, a pro tier, where based on the number of users, that's a paid product. And then there's elite, or where It's a custom. We can build any connector that's part of this structure of FM Flare for you to use. Now, the message of the film Up is that the real adventure of life is in the relationships we have with other people. And Pete Docter, the chief creative officer at Pixar, said that. He was also the director of Up, and he happens to be from Bloomington, Minnesota. And we at Lumenfire know that relationships matter. They matter in your relationship graph, and they matter in life. And I'm very thankful for my family. This is my 2 daughters and my wife. And my older daughter, when she was young, gave me this letter, and it was for my birthday, and I got to choose 3 or less of these items to do with her for my birthday. And they're some of my favorite things that she knew were really important to me. I was just happy that one of the items on that list was, "You teach me more FileMaker programs," that it actually made the list. And we truly value the long-term trusted relationships that we have with our partners at Lumenfire. And because of that, we have several gifts that we're going to offer you at DevCon here. FM Ignite Starter, the fully customizable business solution. FM Flare Starter with pre-built FileMaker code modules, and then also an ebook called Solving the Tech Puzzle. Where does FileMaker fit? So you can get those just by going to lumenfire.com/devcon. We believe adventure is out there. For your solution, we can help to partner with you to get you where you dream of going.